To start with three omkars. Sairam, everyone. Sairam. Welcome to the Instagram Live with Devas Unlimited with our founder, our co-founder of Devas Unlimited, Shivani Sinha Sola. Welcome. You can see people are joining in. So, a small introduction before we start our question answers and our AMA session with Shivani. So, in this world, sometimes we feel very disconnected to ourselves, and a lot of people are turning to inner well-being and to spirituality, as you would have observed. What is spirituality? Spirituality connects us deep to nature and connects us to ourselves in the sense that we experience that universal consciousness, that one consciousness. And ultimately, it only helps us in connecting with our higher self. And the devas, the angelic beings, are beautiful beings of love and pure joy. And they help us in connecting us with our higher aspects of our own selves. Devas are ready to help us in any aspects of our life, in whichever struggles we are going through in our relationships or careers, or in our finances or anything. And they are absolutely unconditional. They give us unconditional love. Devas Unlimited, it helps us. The organization is an absolutely unique and fantastic organization. Helps us in seeking divine guidance, helps us connecting with our own selves, enhancing our daily spiritual practice, our sadhana, helps us in practicing energy healing and ultimately self-upliftment. Shivani here is a spiritual counselor who has helped so many people across the world, and so many people have been coming to Devas Unlimited and have experienced complete centeredness, positive transformation to their lives, balance to their lives, connection to their higher selves, and a lot more. So let's hear it from Shivani.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you for that very lovely, very heartfelt introduction. Yes, of course, Devas Unlimited is all about the Devas and how we can connect with them better, how we can enhance our lives and really lead fuller lives, And just to simply to know that there's unlimited help available, right? So I guess the stage is open for questions now. As this is an AMI question, we'd love to hear from the audience. We'd love to answer questions. Well, it's not that we have answers to everything, but it's just that probably if we sit down together like this and maybe we'll be able to figure it out together. I guess that's the point, and with the help of the Devas. Yeah. So looking forward to the questions, really. Yeah. So just to give a little introduction, probably just to set the stage that, we're all, many of us are Sai Baba devotees, and, we all know that the goal of our life is very clear. We all want moksha, and we want it somehow in this birth, and we hope we don't have any more births. We're ending the cycle of birth and death. And we hope that we are all doing our sadhana, so that we realize our true selves. Also that we are constantly living in a state of love, where we are giving as well as receiving love. And in that mode, realizing the oneness, and that oneness really meaning, realizing the true self.
So we have our first question. Sorry.
Yeah. Please.
So Shubha has asked, based on your experience working with so many people, what is the greatest impediment or blocker in our spiritual path?
I think the biggest impediment that I see is that people are still holding on to a lot of baggage. They're holding on to a lot of pain from the past, or they're just think that they need to still live with that pain and still live with the traumas in their life and still continue, and then somehow it will work out on its own, and that becomes a very big impediment.
Thank you. Another question which has just come up is by Gaurav. And Gaurav asks how to tell our meditation is progressing apart from feeling peaceful. Do we expect any mystical experiences in our meditation?
Very good question, Brother Gaurav. Yes, of course, as you meditating and your practice is consistent, yes, there's a fantastic sense of peace that comes in. But for you to know that you are progressing, I think you are always happy, you're very joyful, and whatever happens around you, you're not very affected by it. You're kind of shielded from it, and you're like, oh, you have that realization somewhere that this is all an illusion. It doesn't exist. So why get really affected by it? I mean, you deal with it, but still, you're not affected by it. And mystical experiences and all, I'll tell you from my experiences, there are lots of mystical experiences. A lot of seeing of devas, angels, masters, seeing, feeling, hearing, knowing. Yes, that shows more that your channels are opening up, and that you are evolving. However, I would not think of it as something that you're progressing, because I've seen people whose channels are open, but they are like the meanest people. So, so that doesn't really work. But yes, maybe those are helping you to have a more understanding of the creation within. So it's enhancing your knowledge, it's enhancing your understanding of Swami's creation and your own reality. So I think the real test is, are you being more, are you being more discriminating? Are you being more responsive instead of being reactive? These become the real dipsticks to measure whether you're progressing or not. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. I think that helped a lot of people. So a very important question, which I think a lot of us keep wondering, is sadhana. There are so many sadhanas out there. There's so many practices, and sometimes it's very confusing. What practices? So here Shivani Arvind has a question. What are the aspects of sadhana, and what is the importance of daily sadhana? And maybe I can put in a question. What kind of sadhanas should we practice on a daily basis?
So if you're a beginner, then I would really suggest the Maypole meditation to be done every day. Yes, chanting the Gayatri mantra is very important. That goes for whether you're a beginner or whether you've been practicing for a few years or a few decades. That holds good. And I think the cosmic tree meditation, Swami would say that this is one of the most powerful meditations on the planet. That's also very crucial. That's because that balances the masculine and feminine energy in you. So I would say these sadhanas are good. But again, we can't say that one size fits all, really. Some of us have issue dealing with more thoughts or a very distracted mind. Some people have issues of, uncontrolled emotions. So then, there are different practices for that. So I guess it becomes more need-based. However, certain practice that should be done on a daily basis are the Maypole and the Gayatri mantra.
Gayatri mantra. Thank you. Thank you, Shivani. Aditya has a question, and he says, in these changing times, as we know, there is nothing that we can really hold on to, right? Things are changing so rapidly, relationships and even mindsets and habits and so many things, and externally and internally. So he says this is true in a general sense, and it is seen so much now everywhere. So, what are the devas saying about these changes which are happening within and without, and how can we move gracefully in our life through these changes? Um, Also, how can we get into witnesshood um, and separate ourselves from our mind? Because I think our mind is more active than ever now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, all the changes that we are seeing within and without is all part of the journey that's happening for the golden age. It's going to be like this and probably get more intense. So hence it becomes more important for all of us to do more sadhana, right?
Absolutely.
So the Deva, that's what the Devas have said, that this is then with the recession setting in, and it will be a full-blown recession probably next year, and lots of changes because of that too. Now, so as you go back to being what is it that you can do and constantly stay peaceful, it comes back to whatever sadhana you are doing. Do it more intensely. Do it for longer, if I may say that. If you're doing, say, for example, a meditation for half an hour, why don't you double it? Do it for 1 hour, and you'll always find the time because this becomes priority. So if you're chanting for half an hour, chant for 1 hour instead, right? And so it's becoming quantity plus quality both, and the more you do it, the better it will be. And then, as you're saying, as we go through these external changes, and for us to keep pace with these changes is what is quite a challenge. But it comes back to the the inner truth that the more we practice, the more we practice being in a space of love. We'll find that instead of judging, instead of passing, oh, look at them, or oh, look at this. And these days, you're really finding people really going nuts. People are just going crazy. They're just flipping. And very crazy things are happening. So instead of just doing that, just send them love. Send them blessings. So you don't have to go into any space of being that, oh, so and so is going through. I've realized this a lot, especially with side devotees. They feel that if they see someone going through something bad, they actually say, oh, they must have done this. That's why they're going through this. No, we don't need to be in that space at all. Let's just send love to everyone.
Lovely. Thank you so much. That is so apt and so much needed. So there is a very interesting question, um, and the question is, what is golden age? And where are we in the golden age?
Okay. So, well, the golden age is the age of love. It's the age of love. It's the age of premasai, right? So the golden age is where the consciousness of all beings is very high. The consciousness is the consciousness of love. There's no anger, no hatred, no murders, no separation really, if I may say that. Where we are with the golden age, it's very difficult to say. Yeah, but then I think the changes that we all have experienced on this planet for the last few years is showing that how we are actually literally being pushed to turn inwards. And those who are not turning inwards are leaving, or are not able to turn inwards are leaving. So and so hence we need to introspect that, are we the ones who are really focusing inwards? Are we turning inwards and seeking the love from within for everything, and using that love to solve everything in our lives? Whether it's a disease, whether it's a discomfort, whether it is a problem, a certain situation, are we going into a love space and using that to solve everything? Or are we still working from an ego space? So I would say the golden age really, it's not a time and space. The golden age can actually happen for you right now if you are in the space of this complete love consciousness.
I think listening to you speak, it literally feels like golden age right here. So lovely. So, um, Shubha asks a very intense question. Another question is, what is Samadhi? Or what is, I think, words for it, synonyms, which people use very often is moksha, nirvana, samadhi. What is that?
Mr. Shubhas, it's very difficult to try to give words or try to explain it in words, but I'll just try to explain it just an overview. So samadhi again is in different stages. There is different levels of samadhi also. Remember, self-realization is endless. It's you can't say, okay, now I am self-realized. No, no, no. It's always it's an endless journey. It's like imagination. It's endless. So there are different levels in samadhi, and samadhi states are really those where it's a complete feeling of oneness. You're feeling one with all of creation. You're seeing all of creation in you and as you. Okay? And so here, what I would say is also that many people strive for certain levels of samadhi, certain states of samadhi. But I think we are all very lucky because we have Swami with us, that we just strive completely uh, uh, for realization of the self. And again, as Swami would say, we are all already self-realized. It's only the mind that is telling us we are not. So essentially, the entire practice of the sadhana becomes keeping the mind in its place and helping us to be our true selves, our real selves.
Thank you. Vidya has another question. Um, so Vidya actually is asking a very pertinent question because, we constantly want to flit from one thing to the other, right? We're so bored. And I think our mind is constantly seeking for objects and experiences. And she asks, how do we feel comfortable and fulfilled in our own company?
I think that goes back to self-love. I think you have to be so madly in love with yourself that the only person's company you enjoy is yours, your own. So I think you have to love yourself that much more. That if somebody is there, it's good. If they're not there, also it's really fine because you enjoy your company really a lot. So and you're complete in yourself. You don't need anybody to complete you really. So we are all gods and goddesses. So and all of creation is just resting in the palms of our hand. So let's Swami says life is a game played. Let's play the game. Let's not get too serious that about things in terms of even spiritual seekers like I think spirituality is fun. So I think we would always find Swami always joking and laughing. I think it was very rare that there would be something serious. So and going by just following that lead, that we actually enjoy this journey and we fill it with a lot of love and laughter. And and as the more you practice and dive deeper within, you realize what a beautiful divine being you are, and
Yeah.
then you just enjoy that.
True. And I think the Devas teach us that, right? Because they are such.
And I
Um,
like sharing this often. Once Swami told us in an interview, he said we thought we love ourselves enough and we were good on that track and we're okay. And then just Swami just looked at me and he gave like a, he kind of just squeezed his eyes like this and he said, don't just love yourself. Like, like this, be madly in love with yourself.
wow.
So have we reached that point where we are madly in love with ourselves?
I think we've
Madly
all got work to do.
in love.
Yeah.
We are madly in love with the Sai within.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think we have time for maybe a couple more questions. And there is one which is, I think, again, coming back to the monkey mind, which we just spoke about some time back. But how does one remain anchored in the self or centered in yourself? I think, like you, Shivani, how do we be like you? You're so centered and so anchored.
I think it just goes back to the practice. It's pretty much that.
Yeah.
There's no other way. Now, yes, probably one good practice in these difficult times, I can suggest, which I'm also doing a lot these days, is in the morning to do the Brahmari Pranayam. In the
Right.
morning as well as in the night. Okay, so that pranayam is when you're making the humming bee sound.
Mm-hmm.
You do it for about 10 minutes in the morning and do it about 10 minutes in the night. First thing, all your stress and anxiety goes out of the window, and next you be very, very centered, very, very
Right.
centered.
And I think the cosmic tree is also so fantastic in completely rooting ourselves, the cosmic tree meditation. So for all those who don't know, you can check out the different meditations in the YouTube channel or even on SoundCloud. But cosmic tree meditation, of course, with the maypole, is really great in centering and rooting ourselves. So,
Actually, Swami
Yogi,
said,
sorry.
to just add to this, that Swami just once said to Phyllis Crystal, actually, if the devotees practice the maypole, the figure eight, and the cosmic tree,
Yeah,
that's enough.
true, true.
We don't need to do it.
Yeah. It's 100% true. And I think all those who practice it can vouch how powerful and how simple it is. I think
Right?
the things which are more simple are most effective. So Yogi Naidu's question is making me smile because he says, how do you fall madly in love with yourself like the way you're describing? Yeah, I think everyone wants to know that.
Right. So one thing is that you just love everything about yourself. I mean, let's just talk. I think a lot of us have difficulty in loving our physical selves. I think we judge ourselves for the way we look, or the way we speak, or the way we, our noses, or the way our lips are, etc. And these days, everyone feels the need to go and redo them, right? What we have. So
True.
that's why don't you just love yourself for who you are? In the sense, first thing physically. Secondly, if you find like you are facing, let's say you're unable to make decisions, or you find low self-confidence, or you find, oh, I can never do anything right, or if you're making mistakes, and then immediately you're being very judgmental and critical of yourself. So let's stop that. Stop.
Hmm.
And when you stop that, because remember, if you're judging yourself and you're criticizing yourself, you are criticizing Swami. You're criticizing his creation. So stop
True.
that. And then, be kind to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. Pat yourself on the back and say, good job, well done. It's okay, it's all right. You'll be better tomorrow. You'll be fine. But stop the self-bashing. That's very good.
Yeah.
Stop finding faults. I find a lot of people just like to find faults with themselves.
Hmm.
They want to sit and look at this, look at that. No, not needed. Okay. Oh, this happened. Okay, just let it pass. Don't hold on to it. And see, okay, how can you correct it, or what can you do next? Move on. But then again, just hug yourself and say, I love me.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the most beautiful thing.
Affirmation that the Devas had given the other day, and I had shared this has just said, say, I am loving, I am lovable, and I am loved.
Hmm.
I am loving, I am lovable, and I am loved.
Wow. I think we will put that in the chat so that everyone gets a chance to practice those affirmations in the as many times as in the day. That will really help us in stopping the self-bashing, self-judging, and moving towards loving ourselves unconditionally. I think we should always ask the devas for help because, as you have mentioned, that they're always around to help. And all of those of us who have used their help actually have witnessed how immediately the help arrives and how we feel a change of mind and
In fact,
positive.
night before all of you sleep, you can just say before you sleep, you can tell your devas, give me a dream, give me a message, show me what is it that I can do to love myself more.
Yes.
But come, and then follow that.
I think, yes. So simple and such an easy way, and it feels surreal that really will I get help if I just call? But actually, you do because
Yeah, actually because it's all very simple. I don't know why we feel there needs to be a very complicated way to actually connect with it. Not at all.
lovely. So I think we'll take another question. And so as we have spoken about um, the devas or spiritual practices, sadhanas, they help us to connect with the higher aspects of our own self. But how do you remain in awareness of that higher self within you? Especially when the mind is disturbed, when you're going through issues with relationships or finance or in your career or in your daily life. We have, of course, spoken about this earlier with Aditya's question.
Right.
But how do we constantly remain in awareness of the self? How do we attune our minds to that?
Sure, that's a fantastic question actually. Um, a very good practice to do, especially when we're all, when you're saying that we're all faced with so many things and it's difficult to actually stay centered. So, a very good practice is actually to just remind yourself, I am God and I am not different from God.
Hmm.
So, whatever you see is really does not exist, it is an illusion. What
Yeah.
are you worrying about? So, what is more important is for you to have the awareness. So, in order to have the awareness, you can go back to just reminding yourself, I am God. And if you like, you can repeat the Mahavakyas. You can say, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. Just repeat them 3 times. You'll be right back to your awareness.
Lovely. Thank you so much for that. So I think we will end our session today. And for all those who want guidance on crystals, probably you can look out for our Love Rocks live sessions, I think, which will come up sometime. Or you can reach out, you can just message the crystals, the Love Rocks page, and we can share more on how to connect with crystals.
Sure, definitely.
But thank you so much, Shivani. Any last words, parting,
Thank you.
parting?
Thank you to the wonderful audience that's been there today. I just love the questions. I'm so
Absolutely.
grateful to you for asking those questions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think it was a lovely satsang, a lot of good takeaways and um, techniques which we can apply on our daily lives.
Sure.
So let's end with Om and Three Shantis.
Sure.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.